Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, this is Hopeful Chewbacca back at the Church of Chewbacca, and today we're going to be going over the top 10 best first basemen in the game. As I've done for the other three top 10 lists we've gone over so far, these are going to be the players' primary positions. So just like the catchers, doesn't mean they can't play other secondary positions. And of course, at first base, I know you guys probably have some outfielders or maybe a third baseman that plays first base for you, but we're going over, guys, primary position, first base. Before we get into the list, hit the subscribe button, give this video a like, comment down below about what you guys think about this top 10 first baseman list, as well as hit the notification bell so you know I'm uploading more videos. All of these four things help with the YouTube algorithm, and I appreciate all the support you guys have been giving me so far. Let's get into it. Honorable mentions. The first card in the first baseman honorable mentions is Jeimer Candelario. If I botched his first name, I apologize, but I know his last name's definitely Candelario. And then he's a switch hitter that throws right hand as a secondary position of third base. He has diamond hitting, diamond defense. And really why this Candelario card is coming in the honorable mentions is he has a really glitchy swing. He's a switch hitter, and he absolutely rakes against left-handed pitching at that 125 max contact versus lefty, 105 power. 84 vision ain't too bad either. And he obviously hits right-handed pitching not too bad. His fielding's okay. It's not anything spectacular. That's kind of why he's sitting in the honorable mentions. Next in honorable mentions is the first baseman, Jeff Bagwell. The way you get him is he's part of the Stage 3 team affinity for the Houston Astros. And he was one of the best Houston Astros ever. He has no secondary positions, which is one of the reasons he sits on the honorable mentions list. There's some other guys you'll see on this list that don't have secondary positions, but they're like better fielders, better hitters. I just think this Bagwell doesn't quite make the list. He is very underrated, though. And he has a unique batting stance that I find is very hard to hit with. I don't think he's an easy card to hit with, which is one of the reasons why he's on the honorable mentions. On top of poor fielding, but as you can see, rakes left-handed pitching, 125 contact with 110 power, the 91 vision, 125 discipline. Also very good against righties, 104 contact versus righty, 101 power. He's a guy that you could use as a bench bat against lefties, but like I said, he has a weird batting stance, squats way down. I find it hard to hit with him. I don't know how you guys feel about him. Let me know if he should have made it on the top 10 list, because I think he has the attributes to make it. I just don't think he has a good enough swing. Next on the list is Steve Pearce for the Boston Red Sox, 99 overall. This is from his 2018 postseason run whenever the Boston Red Sox won the World Series. He was a World Series MVP. He has secondary positions of second base, left field, and right field. And maybe he should have been on the top 10 list. He was definitely a guy that absolutely raked in the 2018 game. I think his attributes might have actually been a little bit better in that game. I'm not sure. I have to go back and look. But for his hitting, great power at 109 plus, good vision at 92. The contact could be a little bit higher, I guess. Either way, he doesn't have good enough fielding or arm strength, in my personal opinion, to play anywhere else. I guess he could maybe play second base, but there's so many other second basemen that have way more range than this Pierce. He just doesn't make it onto the top 10 list for me. The last guy of the honorable mentions is Dominic Smith. This is his finest 2020 card. He's in the finest 2020 pack. 98 overall, left-handed batting, left-handed throwing. And honestly, I just have him on here because I think his swing is super glitchy and he absolutely obliterates right-handed pitching. I don't think he's really close to the top 10. I just put him in honorable mentions because as a first baseman, and you need maybe a pinch hitter, you're newer to the game, I think this guy's one of the better hitters that you can pretty much get for free and very easily, very cheap, that will mash right-handed pitching. And even though he's not too fast at 39 speed, if you're a Mets fan, maybe take a look into him. But he's the last honorable mentions before we get into the top 10 list here. Number 10. Starting off this top 10 list is a 2010 MVP, Joey Votto, 99 overall, left-handed batting, right-handed throwing, no secondary positions. Looking at his attributes, he absolutely rakes against right-handed pitching, 122 contact versus righties, 114 power. Pretty decent vision at 78. I wish it'd be a little bit higher. Has good discipline and clutch. He obviously doesn't hit lefties as well with the 96 contact versus lefty and the 81 power, which is a little bit disappointing, but I do think Votto has one of the best swings in this entire game, especially for a lefty when it comes to contact. Like, I don't know what it is, but it seems like he just hits a bunch of line drives. He's not going to hit for, like, ridiculous power, but everything seems to be down the lines or in the gaps. He seems to get a lot of hits well above his attributes, even for his gold card, diamond card, whatever his live series is now. It switches between, I believe, diamond and gold. It might even be silver now because I think he had a pretty awful year this season. But either way, he's always had a very, very good swing. His face of the franchise from the stage one. One of those cards that was undervalued, I think, that a lot of people didn't use because maybe there was a better option like the Anthony Rizzo or whatever from the stage one. But I really like Votto, even as a Pirates fan. And then in the field, he actually has pretty decent fielding, 82 fielding and 82 reaction. So he's not terrible with the glove. I mean, his arm strength is bad, but he plays first base. He doesn't need to throw. He's going to come in at number 10 on the list here. Number 9. The 9th spot is taken by Jim Thome, and he's 99 overall. He's stage 3 team affinity for the Cleveland Indians. He can play third base as well, other than first base. He's left-handed batting, right-handed throwing. The recent Hall of Fame inductee, I believe it was 2019, he got inducted in the Hall of Fame, or 2018. Very recently, got inducted with Chipper Jones, and he absolutely mashes in this game. His swing is super glitchy, and he hits right-handed pitching, maybe better than anybody else in this game. The biggest downside of this card and why he's not higher on the list is he only has 65 vision, which kind of hurts a little bit, and he's not a great fielder, but he does have the 119 contact versus righty, 125 power, and it seems like every time he hits the ball against a righty, there's a chance he could go yard. He reminds me a lot of Jason Giambi's card from early in the year, that 92 overall that's part of the collection. I feel like he just absolutely rakes right-handed pitching. Not bad against lefties. I just think he's a right-handed killer, a guy you could still have on your team as of today as a pinch hitter against right-handed relief pitchers late in games. Number 8. At 8, we have Big Papi David Ortiz, 2005 Silver Slugger, 99 overall, left-handed throwing, left-handed batting with no secondary positions. Honestly, he didn't even really play the field that much in his career at Boston. Early on, a little bit he did, and when he played for the Twins, he did as well. But he's pretty much was always a designated hitter, as a lot of you might know, a DH. And he also rakes right-handed pitching. He hits left-handed pitching better than Thome does, which is why he's higher than him on the list. Doesn't field well, just like Thome. I mean, 55 fielding, he might as well be an orange cone over there, a sack of potatoes. It's not like he's fielding much or making ridiculous plays, but his hitting is outstanding, a guy that can definitely be a bench bat. It's also the reason why he's not higher up on this list. For my first baseman, I feel like he should either have ridiculous hitting attributes or at least be able to field some. And Ortiz doesn't really field some. He does have pretty ridiculous hitting attributes, but there are guys on this list that are better than him. He's coming in at number 8. Number 7. The first baseman for the Los Angeles Angels, Jared Walsh, is coming in at the 7th spot here. It was his September 2020 card from the monthly awards program that had Jose Ramirez as the player of the month. And essentially, he's left-handed batting, left-handed throwing. He can play left field and right field. He hits the ball ridiculous against righties, just like Big Papi did, and the Jim Thome, as well as Joey Votto. I think he might have the best swing out of the 4 guys that I just mentioned, but maybe he doesn't. I was going to say Ortiz has a good swing, and showed us Thome and Votto. They all have good swings. The biggest thing for this Jared Walsh is I think that his contact against lefties at 123, even though it's low power, just makes him a better option, and he has pretty good vision at 83, so he has every hitting attribute a little bit better than the other guys, other than the power against lefties. You are losing some of that some, but he can be more of a contact hitter. And he's as good in the field as any of the 4 guys. I believe he's about equal to what Votto is with the 74 fielding and 67 reaction. 38 speed, not the fastest guy. Walsh is coming in at number 7 on the list. Let me know what you guys think, because maybe this one's a little bit controversial compared to some of the other guys that I've looked over and put him at 7 on the list. Number 6. At the 6th spot is the Signature Series Todd Helton from the Colorado Rockies. I personally think he's one of the most underrated first basemen to play in Major League Baseball in the last 30 years or so. He's left-handed batting, left-handed throwing, those secondary positions. And this card has great hitting attributes as well as above average to very good defensive attributes. Helton played his defensive position very well, as you can see from the attributes here. 89 fielding, 80 arm strength, 85 arm accuracy, 82 reaction. He has only 55 speed. I'll throw the speed in there. I don't think it matters that much for range at first base, but still, it's just a factor that he is a little bit faster for a first baseman. As for hitting, I believe his career batting average is over 300, which is why he has the great contact with 125 contact, 113. With 125 contact versus righty, 113 contact versus lefty. His 103 power versus righty, 81 power versus lefty, 104 vision, 125 discipline, 120 clutch. So he has great hitting attributes. I mean, he doesn't hit for as much power as the last four guys we mentioned, but he does hit for better contact, in my opinion. He has a very good swing. He has some pop, and guess what? He actually fields a baseball at first base. That's why I got Helton coming in at number 6. If he had a little bit more power against lefties and righties, he'd probably be higher up on the list, but he doesn't, so that's why he's sitting at 6 here. Number 5. We finally made it to the top 5 first basemen in MLB The Show 20, and we have the finest 2020 card, Freddie Freeman, who was the MVP in the National League this year. He can also play third base. He's left-handed batting, right-handed throwing. He has one of the best swings in the entire game. Absolutely rakes. He hits right-handed pitching at a clip of 125 contact versus righty and 117 power. Absolutely ridiculous. And then you throw in the fact that he does hit lefties with 81 power and 86 contact, 103 vision, the 125 discipline and clutch. The thing that really separates this card from the other guys on the list so far is his fielding. 92 fielding and 93 reaction. He's going to be a vacuum cleaner at first base, and that's really what we've been waiting for. And he's a huge body at 6'5", 220 pounds. Everything you're looking for in a first baseman. If he hit lefties a little bit better, he'd be in the top 2, 3 cards at first base, but he just doesn't. They're just not as well-rounded hitting attributes for that lefty on lefty matchup that you'll probably see late in games for Freddie Freeman. I do think he's a great platoon option if you want to put him with somebody else that hits left-handed pitching a little bit better. Let's per se, like the Jeff Bagwell we mentioned earlier, he might be the perfect molded together first baseman of Freeman and Bagwell. Just a suggestion. I'm not saying to go and do it. Just I think that would probably be like your overall best first baseman. Possibly. I don't know. There's still 4 guys on the list. Number 4. The 4th spot has this Eric Thames from April 2017. He was the player of the month then, and he's left-handed batting, right-handed throwing, with secondary positions of left field and right field. Now, maybe you guys think he shouldn't be as high as he is on the list. The thing is Thames' swing is probably, in my opinion, top 5 in the game. And maybe you guys think I'm a little bit crazy, but here, I'll just show you my statistics with this card. I know I normally don't show statistics when I do these reviews because I think that's kind of almost irrelevant because I could just be playing bad with a card. It doesn't mean that the card's bad. That just means maybe I don't play with him well. Because if they have good attributes and they generate good fly ball power and pop, like some guys does, for the most part, I look at like Twitter, Facebook, and other places to see what other people also think about the card, especially when I'm doing these rankings, because some people might have a difference of opinion in cards, and maybe I just don't play well with that card. This is obviously geared towards me personally a little bit, but this Thames has a great swing, and he's always done well. I always pick him in BR if I get his silver card, because I think it's a steal. Looking at these things, look, I get it's a small sample size of 23 games, but he's hitting 341. The biggest thing about this Thames that I really like is if you see he has 8 home runs out of his 14 hits. And you'll say, oh, well, that's a small sample size. Well, I know offline play isn't quite the same, but we're talking about playing on Hall of Fame, mostly, sometimes Legend. And you look at these stats, in 115 at-bats, he has 53 hits, but 28 of them are home runs. So that means he's hitting more than 50% of his hits are home runs, online and offline. Like I said, his swing just generates so many fly balls, and he has outrageous power, as you can see from his attributes at 115 power versus righty and 121 power versus lefty. The 73 vision, good contact. Now, I get the vision isn't that high at 73, but it's not like terrible. His PCI isn't super tiny. The biggest downside of this card, he doesn't field the ball well. He hasn't given me any issues in offline or online games, but 64 fielding is kind of poopy, in my opinion. Not good reaction at 57. I think you should at least have him on your bench as a bench bat, in my personal opinion, because he can hit righties or lefties. I just feel like this dude absolutely rakes, and he's a must-have to have on your team as at least a bench bat. And if you guys are curious where you're getting him at, especially if you're new to the game, he's part of Prestige XP Reward Path, just so you guys know. Number 3. This man probably had the best 10-year span of any Major League Baseball player ever that's played in the modern era. Like, if anybody that's played after 1950 or so, Albert Pujols probably had the best 10-year span It was absolutely ridiculous. He raked the whole time. This is his 2009 MVP card for Albert Pujols. He's right-handed batting, right-handed throwing, can play third base as a secondary position. Looking at his hitting attributes, you don't see anything that's less than 108. That's ridiculous against righties. 111 contact, 118 contact versus lefties, 112 power versus righties, 118 power versus lefties with 108 vision, 125 discipline, 125 clutch. I don't know if you're going to find many right-handed batters that are better than this Pujols. And then he has 85 fielding, 70 arm strength, 77 arm accuracy, 75 reaction with 56 speed. What's holding this Pujols back is they didn't give him like the good version of Pujols' swing. His swing has like a weird hitch in it, and it's hard to hit with. Like, you have to get used to it. Now, I'm not saying you can't get used to it, but it does take away from some of the shine of this card, for lack of a better term. I just think that if his swing didn't have that hitch in it, this guy's number one, in my personal opinion. I think he comes over the top of the next two guys, but that little hitch in his swing separates him from the other two guys that are on this list that just have better swings. That's really what it comes down to, because I don't think attribute-wise, there's many better cards in this game than this Albert Pujols. Number 2. At the 2 spot on this list is a Signature Series Lou Gehrig card, 99 overall, left-handed batting, left-handed throwing, no secondary positions. Looking at his attributes, they look a lot like Pujols's, to be honest. I don't think they're any better or worse than Pujols's. They're actually, I think, slightly worse in the power, but slightly better in the contact. And then he's a little bit less of a fielder than Pujols is. But Gehrig has an amazing swing. The way you unlock him is by doing the Extreme Moments, Conquest, and Showdown. He has 125 contact versus righty, 119 contact versus lefty, 112 power, 112 power versus righties, 106 power versus lefties is 117 vision, 125 discipline, 125 clutch. The fielding, 74 fielding, 73 reaction, 64 speed, so he's a little bit faster than Pujols is. Overall, an amazing card. He just takes some grinding to get. The Conquest itself, unless you're like a super elite player and playing everything on Hall of Fame and Legend, is probably going to take you upwards of 12 to 14, 16 hours, because you're going to have to play it through 4 parts, which I do have videos on the channel to help you out. If you need them, comment down below. I will tag the Extreme Conquest tutorials. You can break down in 4 parts. You don't have to play above All-Star difficulty, other than against the Minnesota Twins. You have to play in Hall of Fame 1 game, but you can play that over and over again. And then you'll have to reset the map, or just continue from part 4 and play the whole map out, as well as Stealing Fans over again, because the Stealing Fan mission resets. Either way, Lou Gehrig's in at number 2. I was just explaining kind of how you unlock them. Number 1. The man that I have at number 1 here is 1933 MVP Jimmie Foxx. Absolutely ridiculous swing, ridiculous attributes. His attributes don't come close to anybody else's. They're just better. The only thing that's holding him back a little bit is vision. He only has 90 vision. He can play catcher and third base. So even if you want to go with like Gehrig at first, you could put Jimmie Foxx at catcher. You could put him at third base. And yeah, his defense isn't great. It's 72 fielding, 75 arm strength, 69 arm accuracy, and 66 reaction. He'll still get the job done, in my personal opinion. I haven't had any issues with him ever in any of the games defensively, even though he has never had the best defense. Looking at his hitting attributes, 124 contact versus righty, 125 contact versus lefty, 116 power versus righty, 113 power versus lefty. The 90 vision, as already mentioned, 113 discipline, 125 clutch. I just think this Jimmie Foxx is an amazing card. He's coming in at number 1. Great swing, attributes that match the amazing swing that he has. I don't think there's any question about him being the best first baseman in the game. Let me know in the comments down below if you agree with this or disagree with it, but for me personally, he's my number 1. Also, I know I didn't quite mention it, he's right-handed throwing, right-handed batting. That's going to wrap up this top 10 best first baseman in MLB The Show 20. Let me know what you guys think about this list, whether you agree with it or disagree with it. Am I missing anybody? Did I forget anybody on the top 10 list? Maybe in the honorable mentions. I know that Miguel Cabrera just came out as Signature Series card. I don't think that he's in the top 10. Personally, I didn't put him in honorable mentions because I made this list before he came out. But even then, I guess you could put him in honorable mentions, but I still wouldn't. I don't think that card's that great. His swing is like Pujols's. They gave him a hitchy swing, even though his swing isn't like that. He switched his swing when he was older to try to just get more contact hitting because he's under the power. and that's the swing they gave him. His swing from when he won the Triple Crown, I believe in like 2006 was when he won it. Maybe I have the timeline wrong. Either way, when he won the Triple Crown, his swing was amazing. But that's why Miguel Cabrera is not in this honorable mentions or top 10 list, is his swing's not good, even though the attributes are okay-ish. Don't forget to comment, like, and share this video. Helps with the YouTube algorithm. I'd really appreciate that. And as always, I appreciate all the support you guys have given me and will continue to give me, hopefully. You guys have a great day and be safe.